and we should be live. Welcome everyone. Today, I already made a Twitter space about AI, but I had to quit that space because people were already still talking, and of course discussing about many things about AI. But we had scheduled this, I really couldn't skip this. Also because we had to move it by 1 week. So first of all, Logan, thank you so much for accepting this movement. Because we had the seed round with Daily Dev, where the live $1 million. So I already knew that day would have been crazy, and I was right. That day was crazy. So I was totally typing and doing stuff at 5:30 p.m. So nice, perfect. So just a fast reminder. So this series is called In Action. So it's not a podcast, but it's a series when I usually invite an expert or a DevRel to showcase something, and of course I can participate, I can drop some ideas. So this is the format of this series. So Logan, I'll give you 5, let's say 10 minutes, because I want to be a good person today, because you like delayed this live stream for a week. So I'll give you like 10 minutes, 12 minutes to introduce yourself, and then we can start sharing the screen, doing stuff, and we also put like a goal for this live stream, because there are so many things. The problem is that there are so many things that we might do that we have to choose. So that's it. So Logan, welcome, and how are you? Introduce yourself.
I'm doing awesome. And thank you again for having me. My name is Logan Kilpatrick. I lead developer relations at OpenAI, really focused on how we can help developers be successful who are building with our API. And that is the hope for this live stream, I think, is we're going to go and hopefully answer some folks' questions who are maybe building things along with us. And we're actually going to try to build something using the API today. Which it's all unscripted, it's all impromptu. So hopefully everything goes well and we're able to build something cool. But Francesco, I think, we were chatting before off camera about what we wanted to build. And I think our initial thought is to see if we can build some sort of like ChatGPT clone where we can get a sort of similar UI, use the API, see what that experience would look like. If folks want to see something else, drop it in the chat below, just so that we can sort of see what people are interested in us building. But unless somebody says something otherwise, that's probably the route that we're going to go, is build some new UI on top of ChatGPT and play around with the API. That sound
nice? Perfect. So I vote for the clone because it seems super interesting. But let's give people a couple of more minutes. I say Shub here. I didn't even know that you can like create a ChatGPT clone. Like, you think that it's kind of easy in quotes?
It should be easy. So my suggestion for how we do this is actually have, I don't do a ton of front-end web development. And I know you mentioned before that you don't do a ton of front-end web development. So I'm thinking that we ask GPT-4 to actually write the front end for us, and then we just figure out how to integrate stuff sort of on the back end and make it all work together.
Let's see if ChatGPT know how it's done itself. Like, do you know like how you are done? Like, like if it knows their body or its body. I don't know how to refer to ChatGPT.
So I don't think that it will know these things by default, but what we can do is actually like paste in some of the context for like the way that the API looks, the way that the responses look, because the training cutoff day for GPT-4 was like sometime in 2021, and all of this new ChatGPT stuff is like very recent, so it doesn't have this context, but we can give it this context. And I think this is a great example of like, if you run into this same situation yourself, as if you're using ChatGPT and you want to sort of build something that maybe isn't part of the training set, this will be a great example of this. And I'm already seeing some comments of folks coming in talking about plugins and stuff like that as well. So we won't talk about building plugins today.
Yeah.
We'll save that for a separate live stream.
We had a challenge, let's say, like let's see how many seconds does it take to mention that word, and it was like, I think 3 minutes. So
yeah, plugins, just for folks who aren't aware, plugins just give us the ability to essentially allow people to like build their own application within ChatGPT. It's super simple. All you have to do is essentially build an API, and then you tell ChatGPT about the way that that API looks, and then ChatGPT will sort of intelligently know based on the prompt that you're putting in whether or not to just like give you an answer like it does right now in its current form, or whether or not it should call that plugin. So like lots of cool, like really a really basic example of this is you could do a to-do list plugin and you could say add, just right into ChatGPT, you could say add X, Y, and Z to my to-do list. ChatGPT will automatically understand what you're asking and then go and like send a request to that plugin and then add whatever it is to your to-do list. So lots of possibilities with plugins, but again, we'll save it for the next live stream.
Perfect. Amazing. So Logan, I'd say let's give more time to, let's see how much does it take to create this clone, and of course if we have some more time we will find something else. So I see people also let's say some non front-end engineers that basically they are their life made easier. I made some front-end, but in the past. Now I'm more like the DevOps hunchback person coding. Usually I don't put the light on, of course, and I have a black hoodie. But yes, so Logan, I would say let's start. And so I'm sure that you already know, but how can we guide people? So let's say that let's pretend that people know almost nothing. So where is the good part? And when you want to share a screen, when is the good part to start? Like I want to create a ChatGPT clone. It's maybe also a good idea for a video. Maybe I can also make one. But where is the point to start?
Yeah, this is a great question. So I would say the place to kick off for folks is to go to platform.openai.com, and maybe I'll share screen and we can actually take a look at that right now, just so that folks are seeing what I am seeing. So let me share screen. We'll take a look. So you should be able to see now so this is what happens. You sign up, you go to platform.openai.com, you sign up, you create your account, and you're presented with all this information. If you want to get GPT-4 access, you can join the waitlist. If you want to go through our quick start tutorial, we have that available. We also have some examples. I would say, so, if you've used ChatGPT before, if you're familiar with the functionalities, you could probably just dive in and start building something. If you haven't, and you're really like interested in like, okay, what are the actual problems that ChatGPT and large language models can help me solve? This examples section has a bunch of like really cool specific examples. Like if you want to convert movie titles into emojis, you could do that with this example. And if we open it in the playground, you would actually be able to like see this in action. So, and the servers are potentially overloaded. Let's see if it works.
I thought you had the pro access. Maybe not on this PC.
I do have pro access, but I was still seeing some challenges getting online that I flagged to the team right before this.
Like if you have any issues, we can use mine because I have the pro access. So
I promise I had pro access too. I'm even though I work at OpenAI, I'm also a paying a customer.
Okay. Nice.
So this is a great example of like what's possible using these models. So here we're like taking a word-based movie title and we're converting it into an emoji. And like, again, a very simple example. And if someone wants to send in the chat, like an example of another movie that they like, and we can see what the conversion to an emoji for that might look like. But I like the Batman one. The person and the bat is pretty good. Francesco, what's your favorite movie? We'll toss it in here.
Let's try with Terminator. My favorite movie is Minority Report, but I don't know if that's a bit strange. Let's try with maybe Terminator or Rambo or Rocky. I don't know, some cool stuff. Let's see.
Oh, I like that little robot with the fighting.
Okay.
Nice. I wonder if it'll pick up on what's the full movie title for Rocky. Does it like something longer than that?
I can't remember. Godfather. Okay. So we are engaging. So this is a trick to engage people. So drop your title, Godfather. Let's see.
Okay. Maybe not. Again, it doesn't have like the full context of like what these
Okay.
movies are, but not terrible. Um, I'll take it.
Maybe
So
it's
again,
maybe it's a pun word. It's just yeah, tricking us.
yeah, so this is just like one example of some of the things that are possible. And again, if you want to play around with all these different things, it's in the example section. You can run those commands directly in the browser. And the cool thing again, actually, is that if we go to the playground, we can actually press view code, and this will literally just give you the code to run this exact example locally in your computer using Python, Node.js, via making a curl request. All those options are available to you. So if you're like really just at the beginning of your programming journey and aren't ready to like take the next step yet, this is probably the best way to like get some starter code and like play around with the models. The quick caveat that I'll make is that these examples aren't using the same infrastructure as ChatGPT. So these are all using a previous model, Text DaVinci 003, which is good for completions. The new ChatGPT model, if we take a look at that actually in action, just looks slightly different. And the way that you have to set up the code is in the way of like defining the system message and then specifying like the user assistant roles. And again, it's because this new system is optimized for chat, so it just looks a little bit different than that example that I was giving you for. But fundamentally, the thinking is the same as it was before.
Nice, nice, cool. And I saw that before I saw that there was like Python code, but there was also like a drop down. I don't know if you
Yeah,
can.
this one doesn't have the dropdown, but in our API reference, for example, if we go to chat, we could go here. So this is like the actual code that you need to run. We could switch it to Node.js, for example, and we could get that code as well.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm more of a Python person than a Node.js person. Apologies if that's not the case for other folks, but yeah.
Yeah. Shameless plug. I have a Python live stream tomorrow, so you can sign it up. So
perfect.
People
Nothing.
on Twitter, I make jokes about Python, but the truth is that I've coded more Python than JavaScript in my life. So I like when people ask, say, like, Francesco, you should try Python. When I bully like Python developers, but it's not true. But now it is what it is. I made my reputation as a Python hater, so I have to work a decade now to remove this thing, which is not true, but it's my fault.
I'm a big supporter of Python. There's just so much. It's just so widely used that like it's hard to not be a supporter.
Of course, we have many Python people in the chat, so we are safe.
Yeah, well, Graham, if you want to get into it, really, I'm a big Julia supporter over Python, but we'll save that for another time if you're looking for
So we're not even getting started, because if we start talking about Julia, I think it's over. Amazing. Yeah. Okay, nice. So so Logan, what are we about to create and how? Because I see here there are some steps, but maybe if you can also explain like more like and then we can do it right now. So yes.
100%. So I think the last two things I'll say about just platform.openai.com in general is, again, at the top, we have the API reference, which like goes into all the different things that you might want to do to like customize your setup. Like you can change, one great example of this is the temperature parameter. So the temperature parameter actually controls like, I think like a bad way of saying this is like it controls the creativity of the model. So you can actually set the value to be like, it's between 0 and 2. So 0 means it's like very not conservative in the traditional sense, but it's like much more deterministic and focused, versus if you have a higher number like 0.8, that's where the model starts to get a little bit more random with what it's generating. So keep that in the back of your mind, like if you're thinking about actually building a use case with the ChatGPT API, think about, for your use case, does it make sense for the model to be focused? Does it make sense for the model to be sort of creative and a little bit broad? And again, you might imagine like if you're adding this onto your company's website, you probably want it to be focused and don't want it to be that creative, depending on your company. because who knows what it's going to say. So you'd want it to be sort of focused on like the content that's specific for your company or website. So that's the last sort of comment I'll make about that. And then let's dive in and actually use. I'm thinking we can ask ChatGPT to sort of write this code for us, and that way it'll make our lives easy. And let me share screen.
Yes, there is no rules to don't use it. ChatGPT. We can also this can also be the main case. So also there is also CS Dojo here in the chat. Hey, okay, how are you? Can convert use case. I think I never used the ChatGPT for this, like convert things in different language. I also made a poll, JavaScript versus Python. So it's time to fight in the chat.
It definitely works to do that conversion. It actually works really well for that. So I would suggest folks, like I just did this the other day. Like I don't know a bunch of languages really well, and I had to like convert over to React and like see what that code looked like, and it just worked right out of the gate, which was super cool to see. But so let's sort of think about this as we go into the future of like AI aided development experiences. And having, in this case, ChatGPT, GPT-4, take a first pass at actually solving this problem for us. Something that we might want to do is, say, I am trying to create a ChatGPT like UI. I want it to look modern and sleek. Please write the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code for that website. So let's actually start with this and see. So like this is probably like the base level of what we might want to try to do, and let's see what ChatGPT gives us. And hopefully this works and the servers aren't down. It's working, wonderful. I'm so happy.
I never experienced the server down since I got the pro version. I didn't even know that you can experience this anyway. But anyway,
yeah,
so it's a bit risky to go live stream. But
yeah, I think there's just always server question marks in my mind. I see everything behind the scenes, so just especially nervous in general. But let's see what this actually ends up generating for us, and it's taking its time.
Okay, if we want us to make the font bigger, just let us know. But
yeah, I can.
To me, it's fine. But just saying. Okay, perfect. Nice.
I think the real question will be, I was trying to run some of this code earlier, and I'm having some Python.
So usually when I ask ChatGPT something, for example, now I'm doing these live streams in CRUD API with different languages, and of course I use ChatGPT to prepare the live stream. Usually I don't get, maybe in this case we might have even the right one on the first try. Usually I don't get the right one, but I get like it's like almost working. Then usually I get an error. Then I say, okay, but I got this error. Say like sometimes it's also say, I apologize. You should do this instead. So
yeah,
if at least you don't start from zero, even if it's not like the final version, I would say like don't go crazy, but just you can reiterate on what is already created. So
yeah,
this is what I usually do. Yeah.
100%. I think the way that people should be looking at this is that likely the first version that's generated isn't like the fully correct answer, and it's really this iterative process of working with ChatGPT, telling it the errors that you're getting, explaining the problems, and it will modify the code and update it based on those problems that you're having, essentially. So again, I'm fairly certain that this first version that it gives us is going to be completely wrong. It's going to be like, it's going to look kind of right, but it's not going to be the right thing. So here it cut off after it generated all this code for us. So I'm just going to say, continue code block. And of course, it doesn't actually listen to me and continue the code block. but nonetheless, I think it's getting close.
Let's see. I don't know if we want in the meanwhile start to copy the code. This is the JavaScript code.
Yeah, so let's copy this HTML
Maybe in the
over,
meanwhile, yes.
and I'm going to move this
Let's
over.
do our small part as a humans. At least we can make this save, I don't know, a couple of seconds. No, but this is a great start. It's a great way to start.
I call it index.html, style.css, and what was this last one? Scripts.js. And is that what it included up here at the top? It did. Scripts.js. Awesome. Scripts.js, and I'll share this screen in a second once we've copied over all this code.
Let's try. Let's try this format. Let's try to change format. Or maybe not.
All right.
Okay.
And
But
all right.
do we need to use some API key or?
Yes, we do. And let's see how it's handling this right now. So let me actually switch. It's going to be, I'm actually probably just going to present my whole screen and then switch all the screens so that I don't have to keep moving back and forth. Let me move this ChatGPT screen around. Right.
Nice.
Let me share again.
I already used the OpenAI API, but I think it was 2 months ago. I think to try to generate a picture from the text prompt.
Oh, interesting.
It's already deployed, by the way. I don't know if it's I can also showcase because I deployed this already, but
send a link in the chat. We should check it out.
I forgot the link, but this was a secret. It was a secret. I wanted to make a post, but then I forgot. I started traveling and I forgot to actually show this. First of all, let me see if this does work in the middle. So as you can see, I got you covered, Logan. No worries. No.
Let's see what it's doing here. Copy path. Is it upset about it? Oh, it doesn't like this.
If you want, meanwhile, show my stuff.
I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. So this is what it's given us so far. Just straight out of ChatGPT.
Okay, ChatGPT like UI.
We need to come up with a better name for this. ChatGPT like UI is not very catchy. Test 1, 2, 3. Let's actually open up the. Always does this. If somebody can, in the moment, provide a fix for how to make it so that your console doesn't, or the JavaScript console doesn't open up in like a separate window, let me know. If someone in the comments, or if you ask ChatGPT.
On the, I don't know,
I'm in Safari
Mac,
too.
But I think that there is it's a setting. I think it's the setting on how do you create it. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see if our chat is.
The audience can help.
I should take my MacBook, but I can literally ask and solve this issue in the meanwhile.
Top right, there are docking options.
Top right, docking options. I think it's here. Top right, maybe top left. Try to top left. Those 3 buttons.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Wonderful. Graham's on the job.
He said right, I said left, but okay. We solved it easily. It took humans, we solved it. Graham GPT. So this is I'll copyright this like now if you want to take this.
So what we're seeing right now is that the model is actually not, and we can confirm this by actually looking at the JavaScript code. It's actually not even using the OpenAI API. So all it's doing right now is like giving this static response and is not making use of the ChatGPT API. So let's actually go back to our browser and let's say, no, you are supposed to use the OpenAI API in the JavaScript file to send a request to the API. Here's what it should look like. And then let's go to openai.com, documentation, API reference, and then let's go to chat. And we'll switch this example to, I really just want regular JavaScript and not Node.js, but I think we can get it to work with, actually, let's just put in the curl command and say, here's what the curl command should look like. And let's see if it can just like handle it for us in JavaScript. Here's what it should look like as a curl command. Make this JavaScript code though. Let's see what we got.
Is this ChatGPT 3.5 or 4?
This is using GPT-4 right now.
Oh,
so I'm running low on my messages, I'm sure. Yeah, GPT-4 at the moment.
No, because it was kind of fast, like.
We need the GPT-4 fast version. I love how fast.
But then there will be ChatGPT 5, which is slow. So
yeah, probably.
The major versions, like they will be out. I don't know. We will go out of numbers soon. It will surpass the iPhone version soon in 2 years.
Well, there's a lot of iPhone versions. I don't know. Cool. So it seems like it's picked up on this.
So
on the
yes. So we started from the basic example. So we had this chat, so I can follow what's happening. So we had this with a prompt, which was already kind of working. So what are you doing here?
Yeah, so the problem originally was that the code that it generated for us was not actually calling our API. It was just returning this like fake response here. So what we really want is actually to talk to ChatGPT. So now that we gave it an example of what the API should look like, we now have this updated JavaScript code, and let's go and switch over to the IDE and we'll update this simple one function. Save this, and it looks like it's going to try to hard code our API key. And I'm trying to think if what the right way to hide that API key during the live stream is going to be. But let's just actually see what happens when
I can help. We are not so many that that we can also try to risk it. I don't know. Or what you can do, I think the easiest way it will be to start an npm project, then you install dependencies .env, and you get a .env file that you are careful to don't click on the screen.
Not that I don't trust you, Francesco, but let's ask ChatGPT and see what it says. How can I hide my API keys?
I don't feel offended, no worries.
It is not coded. You are
there are a few things that can offend me, like I've been on Twitter for a while, so no worries.
You're the live version of ChatGPT that we have here. More advanced than GPT-4.
but now I'm rooting for having a similar answer.
Yeah, oh, there we go. We'll install Node.js.
Install Node.js. Okay, so I forgot to say this. npm init.
Oh, it wants us to use Express. Okay,
create a new file. Express, but why Express? It's
Let's
not an
say,
Express application.
is there any way to do this with just
Just
JavaScript?
or I think you should say like I'm not doing because basically we are, I don't know, we can either create the Express app, but we are like using vanilla JavaScript, which is basically a simple JavaScript file that we are including in HTML, I think.
I think, is this, correct me if I'm wrong about this, could we just like have the code that actually makes, now it wants us to use Vercel? Come on. Well, is this sponsored by, live stream sponsored by Vercel?
No, I don't know, because to be honest, I never used .env alone. I don't know if you can use it alone.
How about this? Can we just define our API key here? I can unshare my screen, hard code it in, and then can I just like import does that work in JavaScript? Can I just like import this other file and make use of that?
Yes, you can import a file. Let's try with a fake thing, and you can also, I don't know, do a console log. Maybe we should have set an Express app, but okay.
Import APS file.
But you said that you liked Python. Why are we coding in JavaScript?
This is a great question. I did it explicitly so that we wouldn't have, I was just running Python before, and it was giving me some errors about like my package dependencies and saying that something wasn't set up right. So I was like, let's try JavaScript, because my Python environment seems to be upset with me at the moment, even though I just created a new one. But
nice. Voted the poll, JavaScript versus Python. Python is 53%, JavaScript 47%. So let's see. But I think that some JavaScript developer voted for Python. This is why they're winning. Okay, JavaScript modules. Yes, you can either import a function. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so I want to.
I like this module.
Okay,
I think
nice.
It depends on the version of JavaScript you have. This is getting interesting. By the way, as you probably noticed, this is not scripted, but this is on purpose, because we want to show like how the real thing would look like. So as a reminder, we are basically trying to recreate live a ChatGPT-like clone. We made let's say the structure, the backbone, and we are trying to go as minimalistic as possible. So we are just we have literally 3 files, okay, 4 files, but we are trying to achieve this. Maybe a challenge it might be, maybe I can also do this live stream, like try to do this like in the simplest possible way, like with the very as less files and as possible.
I am unsure if this will work, but let's give this a try. If anyone's,
maybe
if
you
anyone
can
has the,
put, yeah. Let's see. We are doing this because you might be mean. So I just want to inform you in the chat that we don't trust you. So we are we are doing this. So we don't trust. We trust no one. So this is the motto to live a long life. So nothing against you. I think the only person we can trust is Toby Lova. The rest of the people might be very mean.
I'm seeing unexpected token. Let's see what happens. Test. Nothing happens.
Light mode is attracting bugs. Okay.
Error unexpected token. Import calls expect 1 or 2 arguments. Okay.
Let's see. I love it when it says apologies.
Yeah, sometimes, and the best part will be when it says apologies, and then it's like, this code will work. I promise there'll be no bugs in this code. I'm like, there's no way you can ensure that. It says that my browser might not support ES modules. I wonder if that's actually likely to be a
Is this Safari?
Yeah, that was Safari. So I guess that's possible. Let's see.
Okay.
Cannot use import statement outside of a module. That is a good error. Okay.
I think you should, yes, do this in the.
Wow, it's still going.
Mm.
I'm gonna hit my GPT-4 rate limit very soon, I think.
We can use mine, no worries. I got you covered.
We might have to switch to Python too. I'm not sure. This is why you use a.
This is basically this is the secret and evil plan for Logan to show that JavaScript is bad. But Python had errors too, so this is not any better. I promise there will be not bad. I promise. I mean, even if it breaks the promise, I don't know what you can do.
Is that what it said? It said it promises there will be no bugs.
Okay. No, and I wanted to try. Okay.
So this seems like very similar to what we have.
Move.
Export function, import from. Let's see what we've got. Okay. Export function. That's why. Uppercase
it's a crazy
K.
feature. StreamYard. I can move the. Oh wow! I can move the cameras. This is a new feature of StreamYard. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. Love this. Nice. Custom layout. Okay, so I just discovered something amazing.
Cannot use import statement outside of a module. Come on.
I think it's because of the version of, let's say, import JavaScript file inside file in the old way. I think you should do this in the old way. Not a script. Or you can just import this JavaScript. Okay.
Oh, script with type module in the HTML. Thank you, Thibaut. Let's try that out.
Yeah.
Script with type module. Like this. Type equals module.
But scripts. Let's see. Let's see. The script should be.
Okay, so maybe this is why we just do things in Python.
But can you show me the script that you imported? Script source and type. Are we in the same file? Scripts is the same. Is the scripts imported? Imported key from export function key. But is the scripts.js file imported or not? Can we make a test?
Yes.
Because you are importing this after. Maybe try to import it before, but where are you importing the other JavaScript file? Here? Because you're importing this in the HTML.
Yeah, so it should work. This is all that I should need to have happen to make the JavaScript file show up.
Source type module. But here you are importing just the scripts.js.
Yeah, and then it's importing key.js in this at the top of this file, which I think is what it's upset about. It's mad
Let's
about
try to.
null has open block. It sounds some cross origin. The course policy is what it's upset about.
We're getting this, but why course? Browser. Maybe you can install.
It really wants us to use a local development server.
No. You can use live server, the extension maybe. Here it says Python.
You need to run on localhost.
I think there is an extension called live server, but I think that just opens up the browser. We should, because we went on with the vanilla JavaScript, you should have, maybe with the Express could have been easier. So
yeah,
it's up to you, Logan, if you want to go with Python or JavaScript or whatever.
Yeah, I'm thinking my gut says that let's just do it in Python and see what it gives us. So let's say, we've made all this progress with JavaScript. We're changing direction. We're going to Python. Should have done it from the beginning. Okay. And let's say, no, you're supposed to use the OpenAI API in Python to send a request.
Let's see.
Please give me the commands to set up my local environment as well. Yeah, we weren't using, I saw this comment from CSO Joe. We're not using, this is actually what we did. We converted the curl example into JavaScript. We didn't import OpenAI's JavaScript module for this. I think we only have like a Node.js library. So this is actually what we were doing.
Okay. Do you have Python on this machine?
I do. We'll see if it works though. I am not optimistic.
That's it. Now I'm curious because now I want to make a live stream of me creating a ChatGPT clone. But I'll do this after we make it work here.
Let's do test.
Just to look good. So you'll say, oh, Francesco is a genius. Yeah.
Python 3 test.py. Cool. Okay. Awesome. So now it's just upset about my API key, which I think we can just ignore that. No, you say your API key using OpenAI, or you can set the environment variable OpenAI API key equals. Cool. All right, so I think this will actually work once we get the code.
And then you run the server with Python run server.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact code.
All right, so we got a lot more stuff now.
So this is vanilla Python versus JavaScript vanilla.
ChatGPT.py. Let's make this ChatGPT.py. Pip install. We should already have Flask installed. Let's do it. Install.
We have a Flask live stream if you want.
You have all the live streams.
JavaScript or Python to create. Asking ChatGPT if it prefers JavaScript or Python to create a ChatGPT clone. Let's see. Yeah, we should have asked this before.
What does it say?
It's I don't know if I can share my screen. Share the screen. Sorry for interrupting you, but I'm secretly giving you more time. So let me show you this. Like, I ask like ChatGPT clone in JavaScript or Python. So it says JavaScript, Node.js, TensorFlow, and Python Flask, Django, TensorFlow, and LTK. Runtime, Express, JS. So probably here the solutions might be Express or Flask. I'm a fan of Flask. Sorry. So I stop sharing the screen and you can share yours, or in a while I can keep people busy. Or you can code with the API key hard coded while I show this.
I just added it, hard coded it. Let's see what happens. Though I'm gonna try to.
Okay, now my part is basically to keep you engaged, which is very hard since I made a Twitter space 1 hour ago, and I am now at 25% of my energy, but I can still enjoy all of you. So in the meanwhile, let's see here what we have. Create a ChatGPT clone. Let's see what does it says here. Node.js, Express, TensorFlow. Okay. Are you using Python now? Or JavaScript? Yeah. Python.
Python it is.
Python and Flask?
Yeah, Python and Flask. I think we're close. So now I'm getting just like a regular 404 warning. I'm gonna say I don't see anything when I go to the local host. Oh,
this is very interesting. This is the perfect moment to plug my Flask Cloud API live stream. Let's see. Because basically I created a very simple Flask Cloud API, and basically after you have that, there is also the Docker part. After you get that, you can basically, of course, change all the logic. So, and this has also been my shortest live stream, also one of my favorite ones, and I think it's the one who also got the less views. So I don't have enough Python. It's one of my favorite ones because I think in 28 minutes I did Flask with the crowd operations connected to a PostgreSDB, Dockerization, Docker Compose. This has been the shortest one so far. Nice.
We are so close to getting this to work.
As the backend for your ChatGPT clone, you can use the Flask documentation. Okay. Create a route to your Flask application, create a request from the client server. Okay. You can also make the Docker part. Okay. Write the code for Flask. Okay, in a while, I see here. I'm probably showing on ChatGPT the code you have.
I do have similar code, and this is what we should have started with the Python version. It would have made more sense, but such is life. You live and you learn.
Nice.
Always use Python. Oh, I think we are close. Let's see.
Yeah, because this is a framework. Now I'm getting more ideas to do things in different languages. I can do a live stream when I do. First of all, I do this in JavaScript, then I do this in Flask, and then I make people vote. Let's say which is the best version. I'm literally typing this idea down now, so you might see this in the future. And of course, both of them, I'll add them with Docker. So this live stream is already worked for me. Flask, and like those thumbnails, like Flask versus Node. People will love that.
I think we are so close. The problem right now is that the file paths are wrong.
File path wrong in the
Yeah.
Flask app.
Yeah, in the actual like index.html file, I think the file paths are wrong. Templates.
You don't have GitHub Copilot, right?
I do have GitHub Copilot. I just don't know if I teach a web development with Python and JavaScript class, and it always is like just like doing everything for me when I try to do stuff. So I usually have it disabled so that people don't just like get the answers.
You want to import what? The HTML in the Python? Or the opposite?
Yes,
You have to serve, you want to serve the HTML page, right?
Yeah, I think I moved it. The problem is I'm using the Flask folder setup, and when it originally generated the folders for me, it like didn't they didn't go into the right place. You know what I mean?
Yes, but I think that for path problems, I think we can solve it. I'm confident. Path issue with HTML. No, absolute path, maybe we can avoid it. Web server. Okay. So,
you know what? This is perfect, actually. Let me.
This.
I think I have a great example of this.
Okay. This is a great idea.
What'd you say?
No, I mean, this is a great idea because now I started making some basic examples with like very simple CRUD API. But once I have the structure, we should have started with my server and then add the logic with the HTML. But it's okay.
I agree.
Or we can just use the API without the interface. I don't know.
We could. That's true.
I don't know. I am a DevOps engineer, so I don't care. But if we after that, maybe I don't know. Maybe we can try the API. Maybe test the API first, and then we can say now add the front end on this. What do you think?
I will try one more thing, and then we'll do that.
I'm thinking as a backend engineer. Sorry, sorry, front end engineer. This is why I wanted to make not this but a Next.js app, because you use AI for what you are, where you are weak, for your weaknesses. I love the fact that you can reposition the cameras in StreamYard. It's incredible. I love it. Finally, StreamYard made it. Let's see. But can I can also make it bigger. My God, this is amazing. This is amazing. I can almost live stream with StreamYard now instead of OBS in some cases. Interesting. Nice.
We are 30 seconds away from giving up and trying something else. Let's see what happens.
Let's see.
It's literally so close. It's just something with the file paths and the JavaScript code that it's upset about.
Let's see.
We'll put the code on GitHub after this, and we'll see if anyone can fix it. What do you think about that?
Let's now or after?
No, offline. We'll put it on there, and we'll see if anyone's got a PR.
I'm pretty sure that it's if it's just a path issue, it's not be hard to follow.
Yeah. So Francesco, what do you want to see if this example doesn't want to run for us?
Yeah, I mean, so for what I understood, we are creating like a very minimalistic API that basically recreates some ChatGPT like features. Basically, I can use ChatGPT as an API, which might also be interesting because maybe once we have this, maybe, I don't know, like a microservice, we can say, this can also be put somewhere, then we can use it. And then, I don't know, someone else can create the UI for that. So I would like to see maybe the API call, and maybe we can test it with Postman, or you can test it locally, or we get some tools to see the response. So I would like to see this because I think that the API is the core of this, not the UI. Of course, that will never be will never be good. I'm not insulting you, Logan, but just to you know what I mean, like a live stream like that. Of course, the AI might be improved. So
I've got one. So I've done this demo a bunch of times already, and I just don't have the working code on this computer that I was on. So I just sent myself the code that should work for this. So give me 1 second. We'll load that code up.
But whatever is okay. I proposed something else, so I don't feel guilty. It's okay. File path.
Francesco, do you want to show the example that you built with the
for what?
Using images?
Yes, of course. There we go. No, wait. So this is a secret because this should not be. Okay, so I made this. So this is I made this like I think a couple of months ago. So I don't even know if the API is 1 month ago. But the code is still not available, so you can also just see the result. So this is, first of all, this is inspired by Hassan, who is a DevRel at Vercel, that started making many AI products. I don't know if you heard that. So what I made is basically I took one of those examples and I replaced this with something. And then now here you can say, I don't know, a backend engineer coding, struggling with a bug. Let's say, this is live. So now you that are in the chat will have the privilege to test it because I'll send the link. Let's see. So basically it's like this. It does this mini pick. Yes. And this is, as you can see, it generated the picture here. It's very simple. Okay, nice, perfect. So
it's pretty good.
It's a very minimal. It's I didn't put this public just because the code it's very bad. But now I'll and I think there is a rate but it doesn't show an error in case we hit the limit. But I mean, if we hit the limit, I'm happy because it means that we did something good. So yes. Now, because my idea it was that I wanted to create something without authentication, so straightforward. I don't know if you know, like the remove BG, like I don't know, webs. I don't know, like the website that make you, I don't know, convert a PDF to HTML. I don't want to sign up. I just want to go there and generate something and go away. So this was my idea. So if you like this idea and if you use it, leave a like on the video, of course. And yes. Very, very simple. It has this one, and this. And here we still don't have the but it took me more time to create the logo than the actual app. Like this logo is like I had like the idea of this logo, but it is. So now that you have this, you can use it. But I actually forgot that I made this. Like I never published it on social media. I shared this with a couple of friends, but yes. I can't even remember where is the code. It should be on my PC or somewhere. But let's see. It was like some OpenAI API. Put something here. Let's see, developers, overview, API reference. Because I wanted to create the images. I think I made something like this. Yeah, I think it's one of these ones with the prompt. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Very minimalistic.
Sorry. Okay,
No
finally
worries.
got it working. Okay, I apologize.
Hold
I
on.
just switched.
Don't leave the live stream now. Don't even try.
We'll call it for the day, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Finally, after all of the debugging, let me just do
we are
one
just
quick.
Want to give a real taste. We could do this in 5 minutes, but we want to show you the struggle, of course. This is all artificial. It's not real.
Yeah, so we really could have done it in the first couple of seconds, but I wanted to
Tell me when
simulate.
you want to share your screen.
Yeah, I'll share screen right now.
Okay. Nice.
Thanks. Sorry for
as you can see, I can keep going for hours. No worries, Logan. I have projects. I can show my GitHub repository. I have 170 repositories, so we are set. No worries. We never run out. Light mode was the problem. Tobiloba might be correct. Might be right. Okay.
So
nice. Let's go.
Yeah, this was the example that I was really going for. So the problem was that it really actually, if we take a step back and we think about what we had done in this example, we had gone through all of these things. We had basically changed the context of what we were trying to build, like almost mid-conversation. And if you take a step back and think about like what is ChatGPT like doing behind the scenes, it actually has a hard time like keeping track of a lot of the like little nitty-gritty things if you like change course. So like in this example, we had gone from using JavaScript to switching to Python, and we like made all these changes, and like the context actually gets like a little bit confusing for ChatGPT to understand like what should I pay attention to, what was correct that I did before. What we really should have done was actually just genuinely made a new chat session with purely clean context, and then asked from the start to like refine with a different prompt. That would have given us a much better example. So that's what this code that we're looking at here is from. So we have a basic Flask server. We have a function that returns the index.html, and then we have some basic Python code which sends a request to the OpenAI chat completions endpoint. And then this is all that has to happen on the server side. At the bottom of this file, I have my API key hard-coded. So we don't need to see that, but this is all that's happening on the Python side. In the templates folder, we have our index.html where we define our style components. And then we have all the code that's required to create this visual interface, make all the stuff work correctly with JavaScript as well. And then this ends up looking like this page that we see here. And I called it Chat with Chan because I originally made this example when I was showing this technology to my little brother, whose name is Chandler. So it was Chat with Chan, and we can say something like, hello world.
Maybe you can make it a bit bigger if you can.
Oh, and it's upset. I moved my API key to the bottom of the file, which it is upset about. So sorry. I'll move it to the top.
No worries.
Fine, Python.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, I think that I found also a solution might be like to just export the variable on the operating system. Maybe not showing this on the screen, but then I don't know how to. Yeah, we need to then get it like with the export thing. But anyway,
making your life difficult. What's the lesson learned? Figure out the API key stuff before.
Can I share the screen?
Yeah, you're good. You can share the screen. Figure out the API key stuff before the live stream.
No, sometimes I give up on some live streams just because of the API key. This is true. No, this is true. Like it's like 70% of my issues. Like we need to solve these in some ways, but yes. Like an extension on VS Code that basically you can highlight a line and then you blur it. That's it.
That would be actually really nice. That'd be super. Or even in StreamYard, to be honest, if there was some feature to
Yeah, but then you move stuff. Instead, if you do this in VS
True.
Code, like
True.
I should share. Maybe I can do
That's
this.
a good feature. If that doesn't exist, we should.
I already got two ideas in this live stream, which is so
Maybe
I multiply. So every live stream, I want 2 more ideas. So
the next live stream, we build that, and we see if we can get ChatGPT to do it for us, and hopefully not fail miserably. We'll do it beforehand. So this is it actually working now. I'm not going to show the code again, and I'll put the code up in a GitHub repo after this if folks want to take a look at it. But yeah, so this is now our own version of ChatGPT that's using, and again, you could test out any of these prompts as well for yourself and see what we're getting. So I said, should I set up my API key before a live stream? It says it doesn't really understand streaming apparently, but in general, set up your API key before a live stream is a good idea. So that you don't embarrass yourself. Yeah, any people love the mustache. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, so that's
you're ready to live stream. I don't know. I see many people with mustache. They do a lot of views on the streams. Yeah. So okay. So this is super cool because, for example, now I don't know, maybe not in this live stream, but because now you have this Flask application on your system. But if we literally it would take me like 10 minutes, 5 minutes to create the Docker file. Basically, we could also try to deploy this like on the cloud and make people use it.
Yes, what we should do is I'm going to put this up on GitHub, and then we deploy it after this. I don't want to get my hands dirty deploying this. That was
my job. No, I mean, for example, this is a cool use case for Docker because you have this app which does stuff, and then maybe we want people to use this. So this is a great idea, and I'll make a live stream on this. So I can start from this project, I can show it, and then Dockerize it. I don't know. I'll tell you when I'll do this, but
yeah,
this should be super simple. I can even literally just. But let's try. For now, let's focus on this. Next time, we'll focus on the Docker part. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good. So like this will just work the way that we expect it to. And again, I'll put the code on GitHub so that folks can play around with this themselves. But just a really, really basic getting started template to actually play around with ChatGPT, put your own API key in there, and you now have a local version of ChatGPT. And actually, the real superpower of this is you can essentially build your own version of ChatGPT, and that way you don't have to, like if ChatGPT is down, for example, or it's at capacity, you could just run this version locally and it'll do exactly the same stuff that regular ChatGPT is doing. So this is the little hack for folks who maybe are having trouble accessing ChatGPT. It works just like this. Same thing if you have GPT-4 API access, you could essentially build your own version of ChatGPT and like use GPT-4 for it, which would be awesome.
We can literally call this service, I don't know, ChatGPT backup or something like that.
That's whatever you do, don't put the word ChatGPT in it because it's copyrighted and the legal people will come after you. But
you get sued like tomorrow. Even if you are a student, you will be sued. Even if you have one user. No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. Yeah. But we need to be careful with this because it's very easy to go like maybe on production mode. And yes, so of course here we have Logan, we have this, but like if you make a product that does money, of course you can't do this.
Yeah, Francesco. So I think this is all that I have to say. I fumbled it a little bit trying to get this to work, but hopefully putting this code on GitHub will make it easier for folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
We persevered.
So Logan, first of all, yeah, what?
I said we persevered. That's the important part. We fought through it. We got to the end.
We made it. My respect from you is unchanged. maybe it's improved because, to be honest, I like this style of live streams when we also want to figure out stuff, and so this is totally fine. I didn't know, to be honest, that we can create a ChatGPT like clone, and yes, it might be useful, and I'm sure that I'll create something, but I'll include also the Docker part and deployment, and just to basically you can run it on your machine without even having Python installed. You can just, if you have Docker, you can just bootstrap it, and it does work if you want. Otherwise, so this might be an idea. And yes, Tobilav is asking me if everything was yeah.
Yeah, it was so to clarify, everything here did end up getting written by ChatGPT. So here's the disclaimer that I'll make for folks. This is actually a great example of like what the future of using these tools will look like. Like again, I understand computer science. I'm able to build things. I know how to code and everything, and I can use ChatGPT sort of as a companion to do some of this work for me. But I think the caveat to all of this is like, if I didn't also have an understanding of computer science and like how to code, it would be much more like I wouldn't be able to interpret the problems and like the issues that are happening and know like how to go about solving them. So for everyone who's like worried about, programming jobs going away and all that type of stuff, like you still need to understand how this technology works. You still need to learn how to code to do things like this. You'll just hopefully be able to do it more effectively than I was able to in this live stream, hopefully. But I would love to sort of position that for folks. And again, all the code that we ended up showing that worked was written by ChatGPT.
Yes, exactly. This is exactly what I'm currently doing. So basically, I'm doing a series of live streams when I basically create a CRUD REST API with 10. My goal is to make 10 different languages. So I made 6 already. Tomorrow I have Django. So I made like Node.js, Flask, and Go, Java, and other stuff. And basically what I do is I prepare before the live stream, creating this project using ChatGPT, but still it requires some time. It's not that you do this in 5 minutes, but it's like if you have an idea of what an API is, if you already coded in Python, if you already coded in Go, even just a little bit, which is my case. Usually, I tried, I think, most of the programming languages except Julia, and then at that point you can fine tune it, and then you do this. I do this, for example, during the live stream, and for example, I'm using this exactly like this. So if you have an idea, you will have your life will be easier, because I had this project idea. It's like 2-3 years old, to make like many technologies always connected with a PostgreSDB, which are run local in a container. But I tried, but like I needed like a week to prepare this with some technologies that I don't know, because I need to, I don't know, a full course or a full video. I don't want to watch a video of 4 hours PHP video to do this, because my goal is just to make an example work. I don't even pretend to be an expert in all the languages. The idea will be to make these many projects, and then make the project maybe public, and then people can make PR. Maybe a PHP developer, they can come say, okay, Francesco, you totally screw up here, but they can solve the PHP part, but still the Docker part is still relevant. So this is the idea, and this is exactly what we did today.
Yeah, I love it. And again, hopefully this was useful for folks. And I'll send Francesco the link for the GitHub repository, and folks can play around with this.
We will put the link in the description, of course. And
yeah,
yes,
so Francesco, just edit out all the parts where we did the wrong thing, and we'll just like cut it and be like, boom, it's working.
We will just pretend that we made it in 10 minutes.
In 10 minutes.
But then now we should pretend everything. But no, but it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. And yes, Logan, so thank you so much for coming. It has been really a great session. I learned a lot. I didn't know about some stuff. I also gave a sneak preview of my app. I don't know if you saw the link before, but yes, this is basically using the OpenAI. So yes, I think another cool idea, now that I have this last idea that I write down, is like you can create some services, even different services that use the OpenAI API. And then you expose different services using Docker, for example, but then they are all different services. And then you can add like some mini projects using some API, but they are each API is on a different microservice, I would say. What do you think?
That would be super cool because I actually think there's audio transcription, so you could we could in live take our audio that we're saying and transcribe it into text, and then we can also add the image service that you did and the chat service, all those things. That'd be super cool.
Yeah, and for example, if you have this project, you can also take this open source project and then just run the services that you want to run. So you just have, otherwise, I don't know, you have like a whole full set of API, you don't want them all, but you just run the one you want. And yes, it might be interesting. And also in this case, for example, this is more like a DevOps mindset. You can also, for example, if you want to expose these services, you can make them scale depending on the API payload that they have. Instead of having one single service, and say, many people are using now, want to use the OpenAI, my OpenAI API audio one. So in that case, I can bootstrap many containers only on that single API. So it's a granular service of the scaling on the single API service instead of having a big one. So
this sounds like a whole series. I'm excited for you.
I don't know. I have so many things to do, so many notes, but yes, no, for sure, this is something that I'm always craving for ideas. But thank you so much, Logan. It has been really a great session. I enjoyed it. You nailed it. So you have my respect because it's hard to solve things on a live stream. And yes, perfect. Logan, thank you so much. I want to ask you something offline when we close, but it's a good news. And then we can keep going. I have a live stream tomorrow about Django, CRUD REST API with Django. And on Sunday, I have a 12-hour live stream. But that's with some blockchain stuff. So I'm set for the weekend, I can say. Perfect. Nice. Thank you so much. And bye, Arya.
Bye, everyone.
Can ChatGPT suggest specific projects related in NLP, natural language process? I think for sure
it can suggest anything, whether or not it's useful.
I mean, it will be literally easier to just test this in ChatGPT instead of asking this in
exactly. No, actually, build your own version of ChatGPT.
We are here to reply, but maybe to have been fast. Like, can you do this? Nice. Thank you so much, Logan. Let's close the live stream now. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Yeah.